So welcome to the second annual PAX Prime crafting panel. I think we can safely call this a tradition now. So, to start us off, we're going to explain just who we are, why you should listen to anything we have to say about crafting. I'm kind of going to step back and just moderate this year. I've got a wonderful panel together of awesome crafty people. But before we start, not that you needed prizes as an incentive to come, but we want to encourage you to get inspired and do some crafting of your own. So if you look at the chairs that you're in, on the side of them, right in the little curve of your chair where your bum is, some of you will have a little piece of yarn tied to it. Bring that up, you won something. Show me all your cool stuff.
We came to see you too.
Thank you. So, I would like all of you to turn to the person on your left. If you're on an aisle, turn to the person behind you, or in front of you. Find a person. Introduce yourself and tell them what is the most recent crafty project that you did. Was that I'd walk around PAX and I would always notice how many creative people were here. From the costumes, which is the first and obvious thing that you notice, just to the little props and puppets and cool things that people would carry around, and you say, oh, what's that? Oh, I need it. You know, because I'm awesome. I'm like, why are we not talking to all these people about all the cool things we make? I want to spend some time with them. So look around you, and when you walk out of here, please take a few minutes to talk to the people that are nearby, because you have some super awesome common interests. Maybe you could collaborate with someone on something. So we're going to introduce ourselves, tell you who we are, and then we're mostly going to open this up for a lot of Q&A, because like I say, we really want to promote the whole crafting community. It can be a question, it could be the most awesome project ever that you just did and want to share, or the most awesome idea ever that you need a partner because you don't know how to mold leather or whatever. So we'll do that in a few minutes. To start off, I'm Heilke, and I have a crafting habit.
Keep coming back, it works.
Yes.
Fish are friends, not food.
So I've been crafting for most of my life, but I've sort of ramped it up in the past few years. I do a lot of plushie making. That's kind of one of my things. I made the pineapple maki plush that was in his awesome Kickstarter. I love working with other creative people, and one of the really cool things that I get to do working with other creative people is I'm the Craft Along and General Prizes mistress for Desert Bus for Hope, which is a... It is a really awesome week-long annual charity event. Several of the people in the front row and over there are also involved with it. And a few years ago, a bunch of amazing craft-minded people like you guys said, hey, we should give you stuff to make more money for Child's Play. So they did, and then we do it officially every year where people donate handmade things and awesome prizes, and we make tons and tons of money to give to sick kids, and it's really amazing. So I have the privilege of doing that, which puts me in this wonderful, unique position to meet a lot of, at least virtually, crafty people from around the globe, which is sometimes how I meet these folks. So that's why I'm here and have any validity whatsoever as being the moderator of this panel. Next, we have Anna. We're just going to go in like a random order, but you happen to start. Tell us about yourself.
Hello, hi. My name is Anna. Hi. I think I'm also known as Annathe Red on the internet. I make bento boxes based on the video chapters, and I make plushies. Yeah, those things, that's me. And I make plushes of video game characters. I give it to developers, and then I work for the Behemoth right now, which is awesome. Yeah, oh yeah, and I made those things too. yes, the last one I made was a songbird, but that's how I got my job. I just I'm a huge fan of video games like yours, and now I'm here.
And there are tutorials on your website for doing that bento stuff, right?
Yeah.
If you want to try it. Because I didn't even know you could do that with food. Daniel.
Hi, how y'all doing? Yeah! My name is Daniel Brattland, and I like to play Dungeons... Hey, don't you start that shit. I like, hopefully a lot of you, I like to play Dungeons and Dragons, yeah? And as I got older and we graduated high school, me and my friends, they all went to college, I got a full-time job, and I had this huge swath of dice that I had just sitting around not being used. So I'm like, you know what? Let's put some holes in those and put some chains around them. In fact, the two ladies that won my prizes, can you come up here? Because I gave away the things I was going to be showing off this time. I didn't know when the whole giveaway thing was going to be happening. But you're now drafted as impromptu models. Come up here, you can stand on the stage and everything. I made you great. Let's give it up for these guys. You can come up on stage, come on. If you want, by all means, look at these lovely ladies. Look at them. They're fantastic. So, as you can see, I do stuff like necklaces, bracelets, I've done earrings. She's wonderful, look at this. What's your name?
I'm Katie.
Katie and? Maya. Give it up again for DJ. So I do the run-of-the-mill dice jewelry, that sort of thing, bracelets, necklaces, earrings, but I also kind of want to branch off from that. And the way I kind of, not really met Tally, but started interacting with her, I sent her a piranha plant made entirely out of Dungeons and Dragons dice, like a sculpture. What? And I know.
It's on the slides there.
It is on the slides.
Yeah, it's bottom left.
Okay, look at it. I can't even see it. Look at it. Whenever I get an idea, I'll like take a dice, see what I can do with it. Right now, I'm currently working on a dice bag made entirely out of dice because we're going very meta with this sort of thing. But yeah, whatever I think I can do with the dice, I will try. And if I can't do it, well, I'm no better. But if I can, I'm going to do it tenfold, and I'm going to see if anyone else wants it. And if they want it, I'm going to give it to them. This is all your show. You tell me what to do, and I'm going to do it for you. All right, so shit. All right. Yeah. She's really outstanding. I love this one.
Great outfit, by the way, too.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Sarah.
Oh, man.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, Sarah.
I'm Sarah Mendiola. I do knitting. Yes, yarn enthusiast and also videographer. I was actually going to say, I see a couple people filming. If you guys want to coordinate, like, because I'm filming too, we can coordinate like changing footages and editing.
Hey Sarah, what have you worked on?
Oh, I've worked on a lot of things.
Yeah? Do tell.
I was one of the camera operators for Strip Search. You might see me occasionally on the side of the frame, you know, my leg or hand or something. So be on the lookout for that. And I have done some other small things. Last year for Desert Bus, I did the Ninja Turtles. I made them because a friend actually, he kind of bugged me for a long time. He's like, I really want a Raphael. So I was like, all right, fine. And because, you know, I was like, all right, I have to kind of figure it out. And I really don't do a whole lot of like plushies and stuff. So I was like, you know, flipping through books and like kind of, you know, bogarting different techniques and things. So I eventually put one together, and he loved it, and I was like, man, I gotta make the rest of them. So I made the rest of them, like, you know, hoping to like sell them on Etsy or something, and I never sold, unfortunately. I know. So then Desert Bus rolled around, and I was like, hey, Tally, look what I made. Do you want these? And she was like, yes.
And Ashley, who ships all of our stuff, she was like, yeah, they almost didn't leave because I was just going to take them home.
I am available for commissions. I have business cards.
We will talk.
Let's talk.
Oh, yeah.
So I made that. I also
I'll go back for a
made
second.
the creepy doll scarf for Desert Bus. I think combined the Ninja Turtles and the scarf went for $2,200.
A lot.
Because it was like the Ninja Turtles were like 16.
If you ever really want to feel valued as a crafter, I mean, speaking selfishly because I want your awesome stuff for our charity, but donate to Desert Bus. Man, does it make you feel good. People really value your work.
And then this year for Desert Bus, as you can see, I'm making a journey scarf. I have that's a early photo.
Ooh.
This might be one of the most complicated things I think I've tried to knit, as you can see by the bits. But it's so far so good. You know, as I'm going, I'm like seeing little things like, oh, why did I do that? But yeah, so I'm really excited.
Before you put it away, can I feel it?
Yes, you can.
I think for next year's crafting panel, the description will just be pretty things.
Yes.
Pretty things. So come see the pretty things.
And then, oh, okay. All right. Should I go? Oh, wait, go back. Oh, okay. So on the bottom left there, that's hang on.
Welcome to Show and Tell.
So I don't know. I'm sure a couple people in here follow my Twitter feed, and I'm sorry that I spam a lot because I follow baseball and I'm really like the Baltimore Orioles. And so last year they made the playoffs for the first time in 15 years. They lasted a week and then they got eliminated. But so the marketing, I guess the Orioles marketing, whoever, they came up with this phrase called "buckle up" because that's the name of the manager. His name's Buck. So I made a buckle up scarf, which is reversible.
Because why not?
And it's double knit. Are there knitters in the audience? I see one. Awesome. Double knitter? Have you ever done double knitting? Yes. Sweet. We will have to talk. When you double knit, well, you knit like you're knitting on one side and purling on one side at the same time. So it's like you knit one and then purl one, knit one, purl one. When you try to add letters to that, it gets even more difficult because like what you make is you can see up there in the pot holder. You end up making a reverse image or mirror image. So when you try to do letters, you get the reverse on the other side. So I had to sit there, I was like, I have to make this. So I had, obviously, some of the letters will be reversed, the B or the, the B or the C or the K. But when you do the U or the L, so it took a bunch of graph paper to do. So I don't know. I think power. Yeah, I think someone who knows double knitting would understand, I guess. But it's a little hard to explain. But it was I was sitting there. I was like, okay, if I knit this, then I have to do this color, and then so I got it.
I haven't even attempted to understand how to do these things. It's like magic.
It is possible. If you put your mind to it, you can do it.
All right.
So then the last thing. So I wasn't here when they did the whole ribbon thingy because I came straight from the triple door. Because I was filming. So I have something to give away. I don't know how to do it yet though.
How well does it launch?
It's a gift bag. It's like.
Let's see, how many people can we stab in the head during this?
I'm trying to make it past the third row, and there's needles in there. And I don't have anybody. So basically, it's a craft kit to make one of these. It's up there. I don't know if you guys can see it. How many double knitters are here? There's 3. You only have 1.
You could choose a date for someone's birthday or your closest to or something like that. Choose a number.
Yeah, double knitters and rock paper scissors tournament. Real quick. Because this is kind of you can learn to do it, but at the same time, I don't feel good giving this to a beginner. I like you to at least have something under your belt first, not just give up.
And 3, 2, 1.
Very nice.
All right, winners stay.
Ready?
We're still going, guys.
Ooh, you're unbeatable.
You just have a vie to play for the win, I guess.
Are we going on?
Yep.
Ready? Rock, paper, scissors. Paper, scissors.
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Well done, guys. All right. Thanks, guys. So our next panelist to introduce herself is Meris. Greg, I think you should come up and model while she introduces
Yes. While he's getting up here, my name's Meris Mullaley. This is my 3rd PAX, and I guess I've been cosplaying for all of them in some capacity. I learned to sew from my mom in high school, and then kind of made my first Halloween costume in college, and Eddie's mine. And then as an adult, I got into sewing for sustainability reasons. I wanted to be able to produce my own clothes and not continue to feed into the mass production of clothing. And it also just happened to be coincide with the time of Greg introducing me to conventions and the next level of my geekness. It's been a fun couple years of taking a few sewing classes around the Seattle area and just having a lot of support from Greg and my friends when I don't come out for social hour because I'm home sewing.
How many people can relate? Can we talk about these?
Oh yes, I should. So the Kaylee costume is the first costume I wore a couple years ago at PAX, and it was entirely thrifted. So kind of going through my initial sustainability plans, I found the jumpsuit at a Army surplus store, the jacket was vintage on Etsy, and the umbrella was allegedly a lost prop that I got off eBay. I don't know if that's true, but that's how it was marketed and it was used. So
I can't believe everything you read on the internet. It's fine.
We did Legend of Korra this last spring for Emerald City, and it was the first time I really dove into spandex sewing. Greg's costume was easy.
It did not involve spandex.
He does, however, like hoods. So this is the first costume Greg has had that has no hood. You have to see his face. It's fantastic. Oh yeah, and the My Little Pony was, if anybody remembers when velour tracksuits were trendy, I picked that up at Old Navy and then puff painted the My Little Pony butt tattoos and sewed a wig onto the hood, and it was probably the comfiest costume I've ever worn. And the NCO that is which is Greg's first hooded costume, was, I think, the costume that I could say catapulted me from what can I cobble together in my house to, okay, this is serious stuff now, and looking at concept art and trying to figure out what exactly Ezio was wearing. And what I'm currently
Yeah, right, it does. Stand up. They're a matched pair.
Greg played Bioshock Infinite this last spring, and we thought, that's a good pair costume. It's much, for me, I found it's much more fun to cosplay when I have a buddy. So.
And yes, finally we have Tara.
Yay. Good. Tali told us that she would be giving us titles, and we didn't know what they were, so I'm creative event planner and cupcake wizard. I love it. So I craft with food more often than I craft with other things. And by craft, I mean I'm not an artist. I'm more of a baker and a cooker. So yay, food.
Diet plan?
What was that?
Can we have your diet plan? Because if you're
My diet plan is I don't have one and I should. Because I do eat a lot of cupcakes. No, my diet plan when it comes to making cupcakes is always make it for an event or bring it to a friend's house. So you have one or two that you keep back and then you give the rest away. So you're not stuck with like 24 cupcakes, which I've probably gone through before. What was that?
I bet your friends like it.
It's true. My friends do.
Tara gets invited to a lot of parties.
I foolishly started a thing where I told my friends that on their birthdays they could give me any flavor that they want me to try to make into a cupcake. And it's been a lot of fun, but I have a lot of friends with a lot of birthdays, and I seem to find a lot more friends that have birthdays coming up.
I think you have a new room full.
So I might have to take a step back from that. But yeah, let's take a step back. So I do a lot of kind of nerdy inspired cooking and baking and throw small parties. I post about them on geekyhostess.com. That's my blog, The Geeky Hostess. And let's talk about a few of them here. The one on the far right with the Hulk on top of it is a Mountain Dew cupcake. And it was a few years ago that I made that one. So before I learned about pastry tubes or pastry, what is it called, decorating tips instead of like the traditional cupcake ones they give you in kits. And pastry ones make it look a lot more professional. So excuse the older photo. But that was one of the first recipes I did that kind of got bigger. Geekology picked that one up. And I was actually in an all-day Avengers marathon. It was like the day Avengers came out and they were showing all the movies leading up to it. And I checked my email in between 2 movies and saw that I had like tons of new tweets and emails, and it was really exciting. So that one, it's basically just cake mix and a can of Mountain Dew. Because if you didn't know and you're ever really lazy and or on a halfway diet where you're still eating cupcakes, you can take like a can of diet soda and a box mix and just mix it together and add nothing else, and that will make a cake. So that's what kind of
You just blew my mind.
It's not the craftiest thing, but it's a fun little cheat. And so that was the concept for the Mountain Dew cake, is to actually make the cake with Mountain Dew and then make Mountain Dew flavored frosting. And I've kind of perfected the recipe over the years and have updated it on the blog, so you can check that out there. Let's see, I'm gonna see what else is on there. Okay, and keeping with the Mountain Dew theme, because I've decided Mountain Dew is geeky because I drink it when I play D&D and when I'm staying awake playing board games all night and watching fun movies and stuff like that. So it's geeky in my mind. So for one party that I held a Mountain Dew bar. So we had like Mountain Dew, Diet Mountain Dew, vodka. I think we had like a berry vodka and grenadine and sherbet and just various things that people could use to make floats or drinks or whatever they wanted with it. And yeah, that is that size. That's the Mountain Dew slide. And then here's some other food items. The ones on the far left were for that same party. I was trying to just play a lot with gamer food, and a lot of ones that you normally would get processed and that you can make yourself. So I have recipes on the site for how to make your own Cool Ranch Doritos and how to make your own Hot Pockets. It looks like I just have a lot of like bland fried foods, but it's delicious. On the monstrosity on the bottom right is Troy's traditional casserole from Community that he brought to Thanksgiving. And I don't remember his exact quote right now, but it involves Hot Pockets, pizza bites, and Doritos, and it was disgusting because I had to like open up Hot Pockets and strip the filling out, and you don't want to see the inside of a Hot Pocket. So that was something I made.
Quote of the evening.
And then the top right was a sandwich from that I officially made, the official sandwich, and it was part of something I did for Extra Life, where while my friends were doing 24 hours of gaming for charity, I was doing 24 hours of making video game themed food to keep them sustained. So we had. Let's see, I did a Donkey Kong banana bread, I did the sandwich from Team Fortress, we did, what else? We did Yoshi egg scramble with the apple wood bacon, and what else? We did some drinks in there. I think we did like a 1-Up, which was just a lot of caffeine. And yeah, those are all on the blog as well. But so I love just finding creative ways to mix geeky passions into food, and a lot of that started because I love food and I love geeky things, and I want to learn how to make more, and that's a fun way to do it.
So those are our panelists. As you can see, we believe in the idea of all kinds of different craftiness and creativity. And hopefully that gives you an idea of what their kind of areas of expertise and interest are. So at this point, we're going to open it up to Q&A. We have about half an hour left. Like I said, broad Q&A. Q, C, and A. Questions, comments, and, ideas, inspiration. But first I'm going to launch a pig into the audience.
Wait, what?
Like you do. So we have a microphone up here in the middle. Feel free to come line up and ask your questions or make your comments or show off your outfits or whatever. Go for it.
Okay. Well, hi, my name is Kendra. I am actually graduating from University of Nebraska-Lincoln in December with a degree in design for fashion design and a minor in costume design. So hence my piece. And I was just wondering, kind of what your guys' like backgrounds as college-wise or schooling-wise is.
Classics major, then archaeologist.
I was a communication major, so a lot of marketing things, but I did a lot of drama as well.
I did visual arts and animation, because it wasn't that great program. So I eventually kind of ended up in video, so I've been doing video for half 2 years.
I graduated high school.
And I had a sculpture major. So
It's actually way more creatively oriented than I expected for everybody.
What about you?
I was a creative writing major. And funny story, thank you, but the funny story is I actually started the crafting blog and started doing all of this stuff because I was miserable and depressed because imagine, I couldn't find a job after I graduated. So now I do this instead.
Alright, so that's all I know.
Thank you. Love the dress. Thank you. Both of you actually, yes.
My name is Anne. I'm in Seattle, and I was wondering, sewing-related question. You mentioned doing some sewing classes, sort of to get yourself up to at a level where you felt confident working on bigger projects. Do you have any things that you can recommend for that? Because I've had basic sewing classes, but I could really use some help with patterning, tailoring, all that stuff.
The 2 classes that I highly recommend, one is taught through the Pacific Fabric Store up at the North Gate. It's their corset making class, and the instructor gets your measurements and makes the pattern for you, and then she just shows you how to construct the corset, and because of that class I've now made 3. And then beyond that, I found a pattern drafting class that is occasionally offered through the Experimental University at the University of Washington, or the Experimental College at University of Washington, and I think it's this acronym with a couple A's in there as well. I can never remember what it is, but the pattern drafting class I took is not currently in the catalog, but if it comes back, it was probably the most beneficial class I took because I could learn how to say, okay, well, I don't have a commercial pattern that is this particular garment piece. I know what my measurements are. I can now draw it and then cut it out of fabric, and I'm good to go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, my name's Tom.
Hi, Tom.
And you mentioned before that you tried to sell the turtles on Etsy and weren't able to get any buy them. I got the same problem. I make jewelry, and everyone I show it to says, "Oh, it looks really, really nice." Never get any sales. Do you have any advice for how to?
I don't.
No.
Well, I'm a marketing person. So as far as Etsy shops go, I mean, just working with other bloggers that you love and talking with them about doing something is really great. I have a small shop that I've been working with some bloggers on, and I've been doing some giveaways, and that's great to get the name out, but people enter the giveaway and they don't actually want to buy. So I would suggest doing a promo code if you're able to do that on Etsy, just like a 20 or 30% off or free shipping or something like that, and offer it for like a week for that blogger. That way you'll know right away if it's worth it and if people are actually buying from that blogger. And then in that same realm, look to do sidebar ads on websites or Facebook or blogs that you like. You can find some for really cheap, like less than $10 a month. So those are some kind of easy ways to get started. And then also just make friends with other Etsy shop owners and kind of chat up to your customers. And if you guys have mailing lists, promote each other on those.
I would say also, because I think I'm the only other one with like an Etsy store here, most of my sales on Etsy never come directly from people just wandering Etsy because it's so huge that they just don't find you in the crowd. So yeah, so if you have a blog or something like that, even if you just throw pictures up of the stuff in progress that you're making, as many other places, and talk to people on Twitter and social media as much as possible, as many other places as you can put your stuff out, you're going to show up in searches more, people are going to find you more easily, and just have them all link back to your store, and that might help.
Thank you.
Hi there. So I'm a knitter. My name's Rebecca, and I just moved to Seattle about a year ago. But I found I have a dilemma where my crafting desires are overwhelming my nerdy gaming desires. Because when I'm playing games, I can't be knitting. And I was wondering if any of you have experienced that?
Yep.
Found a way to balance it, or what you've done to make sure you stay a nerd while you're crafting.
I cheat and I watch Greg play games. Warehouse 13 in Eureka, so I'm like, watching shows while I work. But if you are the gamer, that I don't know.
Yeah, gaming podcasts while you work.
Rendering load screens.
I'm really not that much of a gamer. Aside from an occasional like puzzle game or something like that. So the way that like our living room and our apartment is set up is that like my husband can connect the TV to his PC, so he can like just stick an HDMI and then he can play, and then I can just kind of watch him. So like I'll just sit there and craft and then like just soak in the cutscenes. I'm like, oh, that's nice.
Have you seen the John Kovalek's comic about the geek girl crafter? I would go and look for that, because every time I start feeling bad about that, I just go look at that comic. Basically, it's got a guy reading a comic, and a girl who reads a comic, and she goes, ooh, and has an idea, and she goes to the store, and she buys a bunch of fabric, and she goes home, and she cuts, and then she sews, and then she dyes her hair the right color, and then she puts all these clothes on, she does up her hair, she does up her makeup, and she goes out to a con, and the guy who's been reading comics the whole time says, fake geek girl. So every time I'm feeling like, man, I'm kind of faking it because I don't play games anymore because I just make stuff. I'm like, I spend time making stuff, man. That's good.
All right. Obviously, crafting like this for our passions can be an intensely personal thing. But sometimes I've noticed, at least with myself, that your speciality can be so specialized. For example, I do embroidery and counted cross stitch. I'm useless at garment sewing or knitting or anything else. And it gets to a point where I know I don't have the skills to do what I want to do, nor do I have the time to go out and learn and figure out how to do this. Aside from things like this, where do you find other people to work with?
Twitter? Great question. Just find a lot of people, talk to people around here, see what their Twitter handles are, create a list on Twitter of all these amazing crafty people, and just start chatting with them and say, I have this great project. Yeah, and go to craft stores.
Do any of you guys do Google Hangouts? Yeah. I've heard, I haven't tried it yet, but I know a lot of creative people who do Google Hangouts while they're kind of working on their stuff so they can chat together.
Before now, I didn't know where to look.
In this room is a really good start.
I have a couple things actually. First, for Miss Redhead, were you the one that made the head crab little potato things?
Yes.
I made those and they were amazing.
Thank you.
So I'm up here because I actually wanted to brag a little bit about my particular craft.
Please do.
So my name is Amy, but I go by the tag name Pipe Dream Dragon, and my specialty is pipe cleaners. I made my horns here are made out of pipe cleaners. What? Basket full of these adorable dragons. I'm selling this basket right now for $15 each, but I wanted to give 2 of them to your donation.
Thank you.
My Etsy shop is actually empty right now, but I'm planning on refilling it once I get home. Otherwise, I have a DeviantArt, I have a Tumblr, I have a Twitter, all under the name Pipe Dream Dragon. I make more than just dragons. I take commissions as well. I've made everything from video game characters to more video game characters.
There are a lot of them.
Animals, whatnot. The biggest thing I ever made was Deathwing from World of Warcraft.
Andrew, get up here with the camera. Our photographer just came back in the room.
While he's running by, I have a question for you.
Sure.
So for your Etsy shop, I'm assuming you'd be shipping those out. How do you ship those to keep them safe? What do you recommend?
I actually go to the Container Store. I don't know if they're around the country. I know they're I'm from Austin, Texas. But they have these wonderful little boxes that are like in just the perfect shape. I like to keep them in there, stuff them with a little bit of tissue paper and things like that. So I don't get bigger than these posters. Yeah, they're the perfect shape for them. They're really, really good for just like little bitty crafty things like this.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just little, pre-made
That's
cardboard
awesome.
boxes. Thank you so much. But yes, the biggest thing I ever made was definitely, it was about yay big.
Wow.
I have pictures of it on my DeviantArt, so if you're interested in that, feel free to check it out. Otherwise, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to just point out, many of you know this already, you can make amazing stuff out of anything. Pipe cleaners, right? Those are supposed to be like kids' toys. Totally cool. All right, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Bryn. I was just wondering if you guys have like a website where everyone can link their crafty sites.
Oh, like a master.
Should we go down the line?
Master crafting website
Like
where everybody can
Like a wiki.
gather.
How
We
about
should.
we come up with a hashtag right now that anyone can tweet their link to, and I can do a post on my blog that just has a link to everything.
That would be cool.
And then I'll tweet it out with that hashtag.
Yes. All right, that's our
That's
hashtag.
PAX Craft 2000 or PAX Craft 13.
Or just PAX Craft.
Yeah, PAX Craft 2013. That's the hashtag. Write it down. PAX Craft 2013.
So everyone link to their store, their blog, or places where we can see their crafts, and I'll compile it all and send it out.
Awesome. Thank you for pointing that out, Jessica.
Yeah.
What if you don't have Twitter?
Wait, that was a really stellar idea. Does anybody have like a prize for that?
Come get your prize.
If you don't have Twitter and you can remember it, you can email Tara, T-A-R-A, @geekyhostess.com, and I'll add it to the link that way.
Is it craft singular or craft plural?
Craft singular. PAX Craft 2013. Next question.
Hi, sorry I'm a little bit sick, don't worry, it's 2 weeks before. I am a cosplayer as well. I was wandering around earlier today in my Bollywood Black Mage. Unfortunately, I don't really have any pictures to show because everybody took my picture. I didn't get any of my signal.
But if you took her picture, post it on Twitter with the hashtag PAX Craft 2013.
But at least I was able to keep my hat before I had to change. But everybody before me kind of answered my question, which was I'm just starting out with this sort of thing. I've only been cosplaying for like a year and coming up with my own costumes. And I was wondering, how do you like open your own shop and what do you do to connect with other people? But since everybody kind of already answered my questions anyway.
I've got 2 more answers.
Oh, good.
So another thing that I forgot to mention was I've used Meetup to find some sewing groups in Seattle. And then in 2014, there's going to be Seattle CosCon, which Claudia right here has pamphlets, and we did a pre-PAX cosplay meetup so folks could meet each other kind of before we were in costume, so we would be able to recognize each other. And potentially Lauren will be coordinating more of those throughout the year. Lauren's back there, by the way. Redhead.
I
Okay.
don't know how I stay on the bus. I'm going to start passing them through.
Great, and then like the Twitter thing, I'm totally sign up for that because I've only just started using Twitter too. So
I have met so many people through Twitter.
Okay, cool. In that case, my other question that I've kind of just come up on the fly: are there any things that you do that you don't feel confident with what you've created? Like I have my prototype Phoenix down here. But I keep looking at it and going, I should have done this, I should have done this, I should have done this. Have you guys run into that sort of thing at all? I mean, share some stories about that.
I'm running into it now, working on the journey script.
Because for the knitters out there, I'm doing a weird intarsia in round, like younger brother of double knitting, because it's like you can't do intarsia in round. So it's like, because the way the yarn works, and it's like I have it as a tube and it's squished, and I'm like kind of moving the yarns back and forth, and there's like a whole schematic I could draw. So like as I'm doing it, I mean I'm only like 3 designs up the scarf so far, and it's kind of like each design I do, I'm like, okay, don't do that.
do this instead. And then it's like, okay, I don't like how that happened. Now I'll go back to this. You know, so it's like I'm kind of, as I'm going, I'm learning. So.
And I really want to get into cosplay, but I'm terrified because I'm afraid it'll be either too time intensive, too expensive, or no matter what I do, someone will tell me it's not accurate enough. And it's a hurdle I just have to get past because I always get so jealous seeing all these amazing things, and I want to play and do that.
That's why I went Bollywood Black Mage, because it's like I'm doing my own interpretations.
Yeah.
I don't have to be accurate.
I love that. That's really good idea.
One of the things that I have discovered about the cosplay community is everyone is really excited about what you've done, regardless of what you know in your head you didn't do. Like, there are things I didn't do on this costume that in the week before PAX was frustrating, but my sanity was intact when I got to PAX, and that's important. And everyone is just, you know, regardless of what I've seen anybody in, everyone's very complimentary, everyone's really excited because there's somebody else that likes cosplaying and likes creating, and, you know, I have had to learn over the last few years to rein in that perfectionism and just say, okay, this is good. I'm happy, and to be okay with making mistakes because you are the only person that's going to notice those mistakes. Nobody else is.
Yeah, I could totally understand. I could agree because the fact that you like nitpick your own stuff, it's a really good thing. And like, you know, I mean, to you it's not perfect, but to anyone else it's like more than perfect. And like, you know, you could say like, you know, you could be proud of your work. And I mean, it's the same thing with me. Like, I give my stuff to other people, like my plush, my bento. My husband is like, I'm never happy with my work. It's like, I'm happy with my work, but like, I don't think it's perfect. I'm always like, oh man, I don't want to look at the picture because this part is wrong, this part is wrong. But that's a good thing because you can try to like improve yourself better. It's like, I mean, that's a good thing. So I mean, so don't let yourself down. Just, you know, be proud of like what you make. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, going off of what Anna said, if you don't work out of your comfort zone, you're never going to learn. I've made nothing but necklaces and necklaces to the point where I've got it down to a science. Just drill and put them on, there you're done. I've given up 2. I'm wearing 3. Right? I want to try other stuff, like you know, guitar pegs, tuners on the guitar made out of dice, that sort of thing. Work out. I have a 7-string guitar, so I could use an entire 7-piece set of dice. Yeah, if you don't work out of your comfort zone, you're never going to learn anything, you're never going to get better. So you got to kind of do some stuff you're not proud of, but then you know not to do it again. Or maybe you do something you're not proud of, but then you look at it a different way, like, no, that's pretty cool, I'm going to do it again. Like that, yeah.
Okay, and I don't take you way too much time, but one more brag. This was my purse today.
Nice. Ooh.
It's a book. It is awesome.
So I have never worked with clay before, and it was something that I decided to challenge myself with to create some fossils from Animal Crossing. I was running around earlier today with a bug net and a pitfall seed, so it felt pretty cool. But I actually have some extra fossils. I have enough for everybody up there if you want one.
Which fossil is it?
Maybe there's some amber in here, maybe like a T-Rex tail. If you take a look at it, I'll give you like a 20-minute description.
I don't play Animal Crossing, but I'll appreciate it.
So I have 6 total.
Come on up.
Yes, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. And congratulations on trying something new.
Yeah, that's really cool. Oh, they're bees. That's awesome.
Perfectly challenged.
Me too.
My name is Gail, and I graduated high school also. I actually live in an area that we don't have a lot of crafters, unfortunately, where I live. I live in Kalispell, Montana. And anybody knows where Glacier Park is? I live 45 minutes from the Canadian border. So.
Yeah!
And yes,
Canadians, you're in good company. Lots of Canadians.
So I actually was taught by my father how to crochet. Unfortunately, I do not have the talent to do knitting because I break the needles. Can't exactly get the whole tension thing, you know?
Have you tried stronger needles?
I actually had metal needles and bent them in half. My mother told me, I think you have anger issues. No, it's too strong. So I actually started crocheting. I have a very hard time reading patterns. So I get frustrated so that I just do it my own way. And it actually turns out very well. I actually designed a Mario blanket that is a baby blanket. Each square is a mushroom, a flower, and a star, and the question mark box. It took 5 months to make. But how do you decide when you put that much time in it? I also make Mario dolls and Luigi dolls. I make a Pegasus, and I make horses, a jellyfish, squid. I make them all crocheted. How do you determine what price to put on them? That is my biggest thing. I offered over $500 for the Mario blanket.
Yeah.
And it was
The thing that I've heard in the past though, and I mean I haven't really done a lot of like Etsy selling, and so it's just kind of like that much, you know, whatever. But it's probably below what it actually is. One of the rules I've heard is 3 times materials. I don't know if anyone else has heard that. Because I mean, if you charge like an hourly rate and it takes you like you said 5 months, yeah, you're gonna wind up with a blanket that's worth several $1,000s, you know. So I might not be the best person to do this. I just heard the 3 times materials rule somewhere.
It may depend somewhat on the item. I think blankets and things like that are hard because they do take so much time. So maybe there you do want to do something like that. I talk to a lot of people who do big projects like that who are like, well, do it for people I love.
Yeah.
But I mean, when I'm figuring my costs, I happily use a lot of materials that aren't very expensive, and I'm doing it semi-professionally, like semi-trying to live off of it. So it kind of comes down to a matter of how much time am I putting into this. What per hour is my skill worth? Knock that down a little bit because, you know, what would I need to be making to live, and then qualifying that with, you know, is this work worth that? Okay, yes or no. And you kind of take some time to hit the sweet spot of, are you asking too much because nobody will buy your stuff? And are you asking too little because you get too many orders? And I think sometimes when you're starting out with stores too, you kind of have to lowball a little bit for a while till you get a following. And when you expand your customer base, kind of like the way any great artist starts to ask for more as they get better and better known, right? Because their perceived value, it's not an exact science. And there are, to be honest, some things that I'm just like, that would be a great project for somebody that I love dearly, but I'm not going to make it for sale because unless some crazy philanthropist comes up to me and says, I'll throw several $1,000s your way to do this insane project, it's just not worth the money. So sometimes I'll just do something that I love for me because I love it and I want to do it, but it's hard. I don't have a really great answer.
Yeah, it actually ended up being my first child's grandbaby. I have a 13-year-old, so when he has his first child, that will be his. And my youngest will actually get a chainmail blanket.
Well, now you're just making family heirlooms, and that's amazing.
So sad, I just keep this blanket for 20 years before something actually gets into it. Thank you.
Thank you. We have about 5 minutes, so we're going to try and blow through as many questions as quickly as we can.
All right, I'll take that. All right, I knit sort of. The problem is I work full time and I'm exhausted at the end of a 10-hour day. I love my crafting, and I can't even think about going upstairs to go to my sewing room. Do you have suggestions about how you time manage? How do you make it so at the end of the workday you're not so shagged that you can't do things that make you happy? Or are you?
That's a really good question.
You learn to live off of less sleep. If you mentioned you like knitting, right? Or that's something you do. And I'm sure, I was gonna say, I'm sure it's something you already do, but yeah, I was gonna say, just like bring it for lunch breaks, bring it to events where you can sit down. You know, I mean, for me, and it sounds like for a lot of people, I don't sit down and watch TV or a movie or anything without doing something else. I always have something else in my hands or something else I'm doing, or cupcakes in the oven or something. So.
I asked Greg to be my project manager this year because the last few years have had bad time management for costumes. So I said, okay, give me a schedule. We know when PAX is. Tell me when things are due.
Yeah, I can't manage anything at all. Like I brought like all my fabrics and sewing tools to like hotel room. I've been sewing up like all night during the PAX. I was no sleep at all. Like I just like had sleep last night because I finished the project that day. It's not a good way to enjoy PAX because all I think was, I have to go back to hotel room and sew this. So I can't really give you the advice, but just like always, keep working on that. But don't try to like kill yourself for it, because it's not a good thing. Because I was like literally sewing in my sleep, and I messed up so many like things I had to do. I had to redo it and redo it and redo it. It just takes like more time than you're supposed to spend. So get some rest and take your time and just.
If you can find a group of friends who are crafty as well, you can sometimes combine your social time with crafting with your friends.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Hi. Hi. My name's Amanda, and I'm primarily a crocheter of amigurumi. I tried knitting. I knitted a scarf once, and I was like, okay, I think that's the limit to my ability to knit everything else.
Well, that's fun.
But a lot of times I have issues with like having big ideas and then thinking, okay, how do I do that? When I first started out, I remember I was making my friend a little Lucaria plushie, and I didn't know how to make the ears, so I was like, okay, well, I found a nice pattern for a corgi. I'll use the corgi here or whatever. But now that I'm getting into more like advanced projects, the idea that I have now, what I'd like to do is make like a maybe 3-foot long hanging lattice. But like there's so many things in my mind, like how do I make this hang? How do I keep the shapes the way they need to be? How do I suspend? It's almost like
Are you making this out of yarn?
Yes, crochet, yeah. So, and like filling with fiberfill, maybe using copper wires to shape. It's all these design problems. I'm like, so how do you guys overcome?
I've been wanting to make a Wheatley, actually.
Yeah.
And I tried. I was gonna make it like basketball size, like Wheatley size. So yeah, I'm kind of in like your same boat.
Okay.
I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you need some kind of like support, so I'd imagine like wires or something, like have
some kind of armature inside?
Yeah, armature.
I'm thinking it might even need some weight.
Is it possible, like, because pipe spinners are fuzzy, so is it possible not slide like on regular wires?
Yeah.
It'll actually kind of give it some grip. And you can actually braid pipe spinners together to give you this.
I was gonna ask, because I was thinking about pipe cleaners, but they didn't seem like they would be sturdy or strong.
Also, the amateur wire.
Pipe cleaner. I see this now, and I will never doubt again.
Also, like amateur wire. If you go to like sculpting store, like art supply store, as I use inside of like all the like wire and like the wings and stuff, it will not bend. It will not break. Okay. Like even though like you're going like this like 100 times, it will not break.
And what kind is it again?
Amateur wire. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And if you wrap around with a masking tape or like gaff tape, like anything that like you just have to like wrap around. So like like I said, like the regular wire slips.
Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, I'm never gonna doubt.
Because if you use a regular wire, there's all like fabrics and like stuffing like slides around and stuff. So if you like wrap around with a tape, and it'll be fine.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you. That makes me encouraged to do it now.
Thank you. Okay, we have time for one more question, Rachel.
This is more something I would like to share. For serious costumers, serious cosplayers, people who are very interested in film and theater, there is a professional costuming course in Vancouver in the Capilano University. It is, I think, the only course of its kind in Canada, and I'm not sure about the States. But I am 4 months out of school, and I've worked with the cutter for Tron. Just today I got a call from the designer of Once Upon a Time, and they called me to ask me to be a stitcher, and I had to turn that down because I'm already promised myself to a children's sitcom, which is kind of like, I don't know if you've heard of Mr. Young. That's a children's show, no one's heard of it, it's kind of terrible, but it's got a lot of building, so it's kind of by the same people. So what I'm telling you is Vancouver's film industry is booming, and costuming, that program is amazing, and you can get a job so quick. So for everyone who's interested in that, who wants to take it seriously, go to Vancouver, go to that school.
Hey, no, you're walking away. I got two things. Okay, sit down. Go over here, go over here.
What do you want?
Just go over here, go over here. I like that, and I like your shirt. Nice Metroids here. Take some of these. Those are beads you can use in your own thing.
Where's the gal who was talking about the blanket making?
Yes.
Yeah, you.
You should see her
I really liked your question, and I know I didn't answer it well, and none of us did, and it's a hard question, but I want to encourage you, so I have something for you too. I don't know if we can over time, but I'd love to see them outside. She has pictures of the blanket, if anybody wants to find her outside.
Is the Bollywood witch, or the witch mage still here? Come see me after.
If anyone's interested in making pencil box, I have this swag I didn't give away, so just see me after.
Come talk to her. She'll give you a hand to get started.
And the first person to come up to me after the panel and tell me of a uniquely flavored cupcake that they have actually made, you get a keep you a secret.
I have 4 more sets of dice to give out to any Jews or anything. If you tell me a good joke, I'll give you one.
We'll all hover out in the hall for a minute. Thank you so much for coming, you guys.